The dim glow of my phone screen flickered in the quiet darkness of my room as I mindlessly scrolled through social media. Post after post, I watched people celebrating their successes, launching businesses, traveling to exotic places, and living what seemed like extraordinary lives. Meanwhile, I sat there, stuck in the same routine, wondering why, despite my efforts, things never seemed to shift in my favor. I had always believed that success was about working hard, being kind, and following the rules. That's what we're taught, right? Be good, stay humble, and wait for opportunities to come. But the more I observed, the more I noticed something unsettling. Life didn't seem to reward the nicest, the smartest, or even the hardest workers. Instead, it favored those who moved boldly, those who refused to flinch under pressure, and those who didn't let fear, guilt, or rejection hold them back. And then the real question hit me. Am I the problem? Not because I wasn't capable, not because I wasn't smart enough, but because my mindset, the very way I approached life, wasn't built for the kind of success I wanted. I had spent so much time trying to be good that I had forgotten how to be strong. And that's where this book comes in. Hey everyone, I'm Bix, and welcome back to Bix Book Summary, where we break down life-changing books in a way that's practical, engaging, and easy to apply. Today we're diving into Chin-Ning Chu's powerful book, Thick Face, Black Heart, a guide to mastering the mental toughness, strategic thinking, and fearless execution needed to thrive in business, relationships, and life. This book isn't about being ruthless or manipulative. It's about standing your ground, pushing past self-doubt, and taking action without waiting for permission. It's about developing the warrior's mindset, one that allows you to navigate life's challenges with resilience and strength. For centuries, people who understood this philosophy have risen above their circumstances. Leaders, warriors, entrepreneurs, visionaries. They weren't necessarily the most talented, but they had something else. An unyielding belief in themselves and the ability to move forward despite obstacles. And today, I'll show you how to apply this philosophy to your own life. If you've ever hesitated because of fear, held yourself back to avoid judgment, or felt weighed down by other people's opinions, this might just be the wake-up call you need. Let's get started. On an ancient battlefield, two warriors stand facing each other. One hesitates, his mind swirling with doubt. What if he loses? What if people judge him? What if he fails? The other moves forward without hesitation, his focus locked on victory. He doesn't question his right to be there. He doesn't second-guess his abilities. He simply fights. Who do you think wins? That's the essence of Thick Face, Black Heart. This isn't just another self-help concept. It's a philosophy rooted in ancient Chinese wisdom, so powerful, so raw, that it was considered dangerous enough to be banned in China. It draws inspiration from Thick Black Theory, a book that revealed a truth many weren't ready to accept. The world isn't fair, and success doesn't belong to the most deserving. It belongs to those who have the right mindset to claim it. At its core, Thick Face, Black Heart is about mastering two powerful traits that separate those who thrive from those who hesitate. The first is thick face, the ability to shield yourself from criticism, rejection, and self-doubt. It's the unshakable confidence that allows you to act boldly, even when others doubt you, mock you, or try to tear you down. Think about the innovators, disruptors, and leaders who changed history. Entrepreneurs, artists, visionaries. They weren't always supported. Many were ridiculed, but they pushed forward anyway. The second is Black Heart, the ability to take decisive action without guilt or hesitation. It's about knowing what needs to be done and doing it, even when it's uncomfortable. It doesn't mean being ruthless or cruel. It means being strong enough to make the tough choices others avoid, the choices that propel you forward while the rest of the world stays stuck. Chin-Ning Chu explains that the most successful people throughout history have embodied these traits. Steve Jobs ignored the critics and pursued his vision relentlessly. Oprah Winfrey faced rejection after rejection but refused to stop. Alexander the Great conquered half the known world before he was 30, not because he was the most brilliant strategist, but because he acted while others hesitated. They weren't just lucky, they weren't just talented. They had thick face, black heart, the ability to believe in themselves, block out negativity, and execute without hesitation. But here's the real problem. Most of us were never taught this. Instead, we were raised to be nice, polite, and agreeable. And while those traits have their place, when taken to the extreme, they become chains that hold us back. Think about it. Have you ever had an idea, but held back from sharing it because you feared being judged? Have you ever stayed in a situation that drained you, whether a job, a relationship, or a friendship, because you didn't want to hurt someone else, even at the cost of your own well-being? Have you ever known exactly what needed to be done, but hesitated, paralyzed by the thought of what others might think? If any of these resonate with you, you're not alone. This is the conditioning we've grown up with. We've been taught to avoid discomfort, to fear rejection, to seek approval before we act. But here's the truth. The people who succeed, the ones who break barriers, lead movements, and build extraordinary lives, aren't the ones who wait for permission. They are the ones who develop thick face. So rejection and failure don't shake them. They are the ones who embrace black heart, so they take action without overthinking. And when you master both, you become unstoppable. Now, you might be wondering, this all sounds great, but how do I actually apply this to my life? That's exactly what we're diving into next. In the next segment, we'll break down thick face, how to build the kind of mental toughness that allows you to rise above criticism and rejection without flinching. Because the first step to winning in life, learning how to stop letting other people's opinions control you. Let's talk about it. It was the middle of a high-stakes boardroom meeting. The air was thick with tension. I had spent weeks refining an idea, perfecting every detail, only to watch the CEO dismiss it with a wave of his hand. "This isn't going to work," he said flatly. The old me would have shrunk. I would have nodded in silent defeat, convinced myself that maybe he was right, and let the moment slip away. But that day, something was different. I sat up straight, took a slow, deliberate breath, and then, instead of backing down, I did the one thing I had never done before. I pushed back. "Respectfully, I disagree. Let me explain why." The room fell silent. Every eye turned toward me. My heart pounded like a war drum, but I spoke with conviction, not fear. By the time I finished, the CEO leaned back in his chair, studied me for a moment, and then nodded. "Okay, let's give it a shot." And just like that, everything changed. That was the moment I realized the power of thick face, the ability to believe in yourself so deeply that rejection, criticism, and self-doubt become nothing more than background noise. This isn't just about confidence. It's about cultivating a mindset so strong that no external force, no insult, no rejection, no failure can shake you. And let's be honest, most people don't have this. Most people are ruled by the opinions of others. A single disapproving glance makes them shrink. A harsh comment makes them second-guess themselves. A single failure makes them quit. But the people who truly thrive, they don't play that game. They know the truth, that rejection is inevitable. Criticism is unavoidable. Failure isn't a death sentence. It's just part of the process. Think about J.K. Rowling. She sat in a tiny apartment, barely making ends meet, as rejection letter after rejection letter piled up for Harry Potter. 12 publishers turned her down. They didn't see the magic she had created. She could have let that destroy her. She could have believed them when they said her book wasn't worth publishing. But she didn't. She had thick face. She ignored the rejections, kept pushing forward, and today, Harry Potter is one of the best-selling book series of all time. Here's the hard truth. Most of us weren't taught to think like this. We were raised to seek approval, from teachers, parents, bosses, and society. We were taught that failure is shameful, that if people don't believe in you, maybe you're just not good enough. But that's a lie. The reality is, if you want to achieve anything great, you have to stop looking for permission. You have to stop waiting for validation. You have to develop the kind of inner belief that says, I don't care if you doubt me, I believe in myself. Because once you do, the world has no choice but to take you seriously. But here's the catch. Belief alone isn't enough. Because once you stop caring about what people think, there's another challenge. You have to take action, bold, sometimes ruthless action. And that's where Black Heart comes in. Let's talk about it. There comes a moment in everyone's life when they know exactly what they need to do, but they hesitate. Maybe it's a relationship that's draining you, a job that's suffocating you, or an opportunity that's right in front of you. But instead of acting, you freeze. Why? Because you don't want to hurt someone. Because you don't want to look bad. Because you don't want to take the risk. So you stall. You wait. You convince yourself that maybe somehow things will fix themselves. And just like that, you stay stuck. That hesitation? That's the lack of black heart. Most people think kindness means always being agreeable, always saying yes, always accommodating others. But here's the harsh truth. Excessive kindness without strength will make you a prisoner in your own life. And I learned this the hard way. There was a time when I was trapped in a job that made me miserable. I knew I needed to quit. Every fiber of my being screamed for change. But I didn't. I made excuses. What if I regret leaving? I don't want to disappoint my boss. Maybe things will get better. I let fear, guilt, and obligation keep me trapped. Until one day something clicked. I realized that nobody was coming to save me. That my boss would replace me in a heartbeat if he had to. That I was the only one suffering by staying. So I made the decision. I walked into his office, put in my resignation, and walked out. The moment I left that building, I felt free. That was Blackheart in action. Not cruelty, not selfishness, but the strength to do what's necessary even when it's hard. Because here's the thing, the most successful people in the world don't just sit around hoping things will get better. They act. Look at Elon Musk. When he invested every last dollar he had into Tesla and SpaceX, people thought he was insane. If those companies failed, he wouldn't just be broke, he'd be destroyed. But he didn't hesitate. He made the tough call. He risked it all. And today, he's one of the most influential entrepreneurs in history. Or take Steve Jobs. He got fired from his own company. Most people would have crumbled, given up. But instead, he built something even bigger, forced his way back in, and revolutionized the tech industry. That's Blackheart. The ability to act with conviction, decisiveness, and absolute focus. So now ask yourself, what's the one thing in your life you know you need to do, but you've been avoiding? That tough conversation. That decision you keep putting off. That move you're scared to make. The longer you wait, the harder it gets. Because the truth is, life isn't going to wait for you. At some point, you either step up and take control, or you let life control you. So now that you understand the two halves of this philosophy, thick face to shield yourself from doubt and fear, black heart to push forward despite it, it's time to put them into action. In the next segment, we'll break down exactly how to apply these principles to your daily life, so you can start making fearless decisions, taking bold action, and finally creating the life you want. Let's keep going. Most people hear ideas like this and think, that sounds great, but how do I actually use it in my life? And that's where things get real. Because knowing something doesn't change your life. Applying it does. You can read all the books in the world, watch every motivational video, and take endless notes, but if you don't start making real changes, nothing happens. The good news is, you don't have to wake up tomorrow as a fearless, unstoppable warrior, but you do need to start making shifts. Small, consistent moves that begin rewiring the way you think, act, and respond to challenges. The next time someone doubts you, criticizes you, or tells you your idea won't work, watch yourself. How do you react? Do you shrink? Do you second-guess yourself? Do you feel like giving up? If so, this is where you need to build thick face, the ability to keep moving forward no matter what anyone says. It starts with small tests, small moments of resilience. When someone makes a sarcastic remark about your work, instead of getting defensive, let it roll off. If you pitch an idea and it gets shut down, don't let it shake your confidence. If you post something online and people criticize it, leave it up. Every time you face rejection and refuse to let it stop you, you become stronger. The truth is, people will doubt you, they will criticize you, but none of it matters unless you let it. The ones who succeed aren't the ones who avoid rejection. They're the ones who refuse to let it define them. Now let's talk about those tough choices you've been avoiding. Maybe it's a friendship that drains you, a job you've outgrown, or a risk you know you should take but keep pushing off. The reason we hesitate isn't just fear. It's guilt. It's attachment. It's that quiet voice in our head whispering, I don't want to hurt anyone. It's the lie we tell ourselves, maybe now isn't the right time. But let's be honest, if you knew without a doubt that 5 years from now, your future self would look back and say, I wish I had done this sooner, wouldn't you want to take action now? That's Blackheart. It's not cruelty. It's not selfishness. It's the willingness to make hard decisions because deep down you know they're the right ones. If something is holding you back, if you feel stuck, if you've known for a while that something needs to change, stop hesitating. Give yourself permission to make the move. Because the truth is, the people who truly care about you will understand, and the ones who don't, maybe they were never meant to be part of your long-term journey. But even after you develop the resilience of thick face and the decisiveness of black heart, there's still one final test: taking action, even when you're not ready. Because no matter how much you prepare, how much you plan, how much you analyze, at some point, you have to move. And the truth is, you will never feel 100% ready. That business idea you've been thinking about, you'll always feel like you need more research. That book you want to write, you'll always feel like you need more practice. That bold move you've been delaying, there will always be a reason to wait. But the people who succeed don't wait. They move before they feel ready. They jump while they're still scared. They understand something most people don't. Growth doesn't come from waiting for the perfect moment. It comes from making the leap and figuring things out along the way. When you combine thick face, the ability to handle rejection and criticism, with black heart, the ability to take bold action without hesitation, you become unstoppable. Look at your life right now. Where do you need more thick face? Where are you letting rejection, fear, or doubt control you? Where do you need more black heart? What tough decision have you been avoiding? Now start taking action, even if it's just a small step, because the moment you stop waiting and start moving, that's when everything changes. If there's one message that thick-faced Blackheart leaves behind, it's this: the world doesn't reward the nicest, the smartest, or even the most talented. It rewards those who have the courage to take action, the resilience to keep going despite setbacks, and the strength to ignore the noise of doubt, criticism, and fear. When you develop thick face, rejection loses its power over you. You stop hesitating, second-guessing, and shrinking under the weight of other people's opinions. When you embrace black heart, you stop waiting for permission, stop over-analyzing every decision, and start moving forward with clarity and purpose. And when you master both, you become truly unstoppable. Someone who doesn't just dream, but executes. Someone who doesn't just survive, but thrives. But here's the real truth. Knowing this won't change your life. Applying it will. So here's my challenge to you. Right now, take a hard look at your life. Think about that one thing you've been avoiding. The one decision that's been weighing on you. The one place where fear, doubt, or guilt has kept you from stepping up. Maybe it's a tough conversation you've been postponing, a bold move you've been afraid to make, or a risk you've convinced yourself isn't the right time for. Now ask yourself, what would happen if starting today, you stopped waiting? What if you decided, right now, that you were done playing small? That you were done letting fear dictate your choices? That you were ready to take control? Because that's where real change happens. That's where you stop merely thinking about a better life and start creating one. And it all starts with you. Now it's your turn. Drop a comment below. What's bold decision you're committing to today? I want to hear from you. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Bix Book Summary. Check out the link in the description to grab your copy of Thick Face, Black Heart and start applying these principles to your own life. Until next time, be bold, be fearless, and awaken the warrior within.